All right, so are you ready for this? We're going deep on Elon Musk in 2024, politically speaking, of course.
Buckle up.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. We've got a whole mountain of articles here, Wikipedia, Yahoo Finance. Even the Wall Street Journal got in on this.
A lot to unpack.
Definitely. We're talking about Musk's political activity, donations, the whole shebang. So we're going to break it all down, see if we can make sense of it all.
Let's do it.
First off, did you know that Musk was the biggest single donor in the entire 2024 election?
Oh, yeah. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is.
Right. And then there's that whole chainsaw thing at CPAC.
Can't forget that.
We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about these donations. We're talking serious cash here, like eye-popping amounts going straight to Trump's PAC.
PACs are basically, what, like giant fundraising pools?
Exactly. They're used to support political campaign. And Musk basically, well, Wikipedia says he dropped a cool $250 million.
I saw some reports saying it was even higher, like Yahoo Finance. I think they had it closer to $290 million.
Yeah, no matter how you slice it, has anyone ever donated that much before?
It's definitely unprecedented. And it really raises some questions, right? Like, what kind of influence does that kind of money buy you?
Exactly. We're talking access, maybe even swing policy decisions.
Definitely something to think about.
Okay, so then we've got Trump winning the election, and guess what? Musk gets an interesting job offer.
I'm guessing this is where the DOGE part comes in.
You got it. He's tapped to co-lead the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
Even the name is kind of, well, it's a little out there, isn't it? DOGE, like the meme.
Yeah, the whole cryptocurrency thing, I think they were trying to be, well, I don't know, maybe a little ironic.
Maybe, or maybe they were trying to signal like a clean break from the usual boring bureaucracy.
Right, like, hey, we're the cool kids now. We do things differently.
And then you have Musk showing up at CPAC with a chainsaw.
Could you imagine? He's in there on stage, chainsaw in hand, and the whole MAGA crowd is going wild.
Pretty powerful imagery, right? Like he's there to tear down the old system, cut through red tape.
But it's also, I don't know, it's kind of aggressive, don't you think? A little unsettling?
I can see that. A chainsaw, it's not exactly a subtle tool, is it?
Right. So speaking of tearing things down, DOGE made some serious cuts to the federal budget, like massive cuts.
How much are we talking?
The New York Post says they slashed a whopping $55 billion. That's billion with a B.
Wow, where'd they find all that fat to trim?
Well, a lot of it came from, workforce reductions, laying people off, basically. And they canceled a ton of government contracts, too.
Interesting. I wonder how they decided what to cut. Was it strategic, or were they just swinging the axe randomly?
That's a good question. And there's one cut in particular that got people really fired up.
Oh, which one?
They cut $67 million from environmental justice grants.
Those are grants that help communities that are, really affected by pollution and stuff.
Exactly. Places that are already struggling. So cutting those funds, it didn't go over well.
Yeah, I bet. It's like trying to save money is one thing, but sometimes it ends up hurting the people who need help the most.
Right. And then things get even more messy. Legally speaking, we've got judges involved, lawsuits flying around.
Oh, yeah, the New York Post mentioned some of that.
There was one judge who blocked DOGE from getting access to funds from the Treasury.
But I think there were other rulings that went in Musk's favor, something about access to government data.
You're right. He ended up getting access to a ton of data, which, there are two ways to look at that, right?
Yeah, it could be good for transparency, holding the government accountable, but it's also kind of scary. Who knows what he could do with all that information?
Exactly. So we've got a lot. Huge donations, crazy symbolism, controversial cuts, and a whole legal battle. How'd people react to all this?
Well, it depends on who you ask. The New York Post talked a lot about the support from conservatives. They loved Musk, thought he was a hero for cutting spending and shrinking the government.
But I bet not everyone was thrilled.
Definitely not. The Guardian and the Wall Street Journal, they covered the other side. People were worried about conflicts of interest, what these cuts would mean for public services, things like that.
And of course, there were concerns about Musk himself. He's got so much power, and it's not exactly known for being, subtle.
Right. So we've got Musk, this larger-than-life figure, jumping headfirst into the political world, throwing money around, shaking things up, and leaving a lot of people wondering what's next.
It's crazy to think about, right? He had this huge impact in 2024, but what does it mean for the future?
That's the big question. What if this is just the beginning? What if more tech billionaires start doing this, using their money and influence to shape politics?
Kind of a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it really makes you think about the balance of power, who is really in control, and what does it mean for the rest of us?
Well, I think we've given everyone a lot to chew on today.
We've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
That's the truth. And that's what these deep dives are all about, right? Digging deep, asking tough questions, and hopefully coming out a little bit smarter on the other side.
Absolutely. It's on all of us to stay informed and, keep our eyes open.
Thanks for diving in with me. I think I need a break after all that.
Me too. Maybe we can tackle something a little later next time.
Let's hope so.